Just woke up one day and decided I want to try airplanes, stopped looking at houses and took everything I had saved up and spent it on flight school. And toured the school and immediately was like, this is definitely the place I'd come to. And there's so many people here, everybody seems so friendly. And like even after enrolling here, everybody wants to help you. And I was kind of just turning my whole life upside down by spending everything I had saved up. I feel less lost now. I feel like I have a vision of what is all to come now. Every person that's successful has failed. Nobody ever makes it on their first try.
Hey guys, it's Matthew from Sling Pilot Academy. Welcome to our Leap of Faith series, where we highlight students and instructors so they can tell their inspiring stories about how they got from wherever they started off at to becoming a pilot here at Sling Pilot Academy. Stick around to hear their thoughts, reflections, and inspiring advice. Enjoy the video. So what's your name and what are you working on right now?
My name is Busse and I'm working on my instrument rating.
Before enrolling at Sling Pilot Academy, what were you doing?
I was working a full-time job in concrete. I was doing construction, residential concrete stuff like driveways, basements, garages, and then I would race snowmobiles in the winter.
Before you decided that you were going to come to Sling, what were your next steps there?
One of my friends was doing concrete, so I started working with him as just like a finish out the year type thing, and I was gonna do something else the next year, but I ended up moving out of state to Minnesota, and I already had some experience. You know how experience helps you get paid better, so I started applying for other concrete jobs. I got one in Minnesota, so I did that again for another whole year. I ended up leaving Minnesota the following spring after winter and applied for another concrete job. At that point, I was pretty sold on doing that. I did kind of enjoy it, but it was very hard on the body. Just woke up one day and decided I want to try airplanes, so I went to my local airport and took a discovery flight and was kind of sold from there. I stopped looking at houses and took everything I had saved up and spent it on flight school.
What was it that finally made you decide? Like, what was that last thing?
I took the discovery flight. I started flying locally a little bit, trying to get it done, but it was a mom and pop thing and the program wasn't very structured. I looked at some other schools and everything, and I knew a kid out here that was enrolled here, and he was like, yeah, this place is really cool. So I came out here and toured the school and immediately was like, this is definitely the place I'd come to. And there's so many people here, everybody seems so friendly, and like even after enrolling here, everybody wants to help you.
Was becoming a pilot something that you always wanted to do, like a childhood dream, or was that something that was more recent?
It was something that I had always thought about, like as a little kid, when they always ask you like, oh, what do you want to be when you grow up? I do remember the first time I flew in a little single engine aircraft was a kid I went to daycare with. It was just me and him. His dad had a plane, and I remember I went flying with him. I don't even remember what it was. I fell asleep in the car right up there, and then we ended up at this airport, and he took us for a flight. Oh, I was probably like 5 or 6 at the time. And that was the only time I'd ever been on an airplane other than like a commercial airline jet. And I don't know, I didn't really like fall in love. I mean, granted, I was only 6 years old at the time, but yeah, that was realistically the only time I'd ever stepped foot in a little single engine aircraft besides when I took my discovery flight.
If that didn't spark it, what was it that sparked it for you? The career, the wanting to be in the air? Like what brought you toward it?
I looked up the career and I thought it looked like it would be fun, so I went for it.
Before you started here, before you enrolled, what fears or doubts did you have?
I mean, I'm sure there's people that started this with knowing less, but I knew absolutely nothing about aviation. Like, I didn't know that there were like the steps that it took to get through it. And I feel like a lot of people don't, like even people that I run into from high school or people that didn't know that I was doing this. It's like explaining the hoops you have to jump through and the steps you have to go through. They're like, oh my God, I didn't think it was that much of a in-depth training process. I'm just here for the ride at this point. I'm in deep and gonna see it through.
Nice. So was there a specific event or conversation that kind of pushed you over the edge to apply at Sling?
Definitely when I came out here to do my intro flight or demo flight or whatever you want to call it, I had met some of the people at Oshkosh. That was actually my first year I ever went, was in last summer, and I grew up 45 minutes away from the event. I'd never been there, which is kind of funny, but
that is funny.
Yeah, I went there, I met a couple of the CFIs and students, and I was like, oh, these guys are really friendly. And then that was when I decided, I'm like, hey, I'll come out and take a tour of the school. I always wanted to visit California and just, I don't know, I'd never been out to the West Coast, so I was like, yeah, I'll come out here and see. And yeah, I just walked in and I liked the whole vibe of the place. I liked the fact that the school was in a hangar, everybody wanted to help. Like, I've heard some horror stories, just so-called it, from other flight schools of like, it's kind of a push you to the wolves and have at it. Hopefully you can make it out alive. And like, it seems like everybody here wants to help you, because I feel like everybody's reflected on how well you do, because like if they help you, it kind of reflects back on them if you do good. So it's like everybody wants to be a part of everybody winning.
So how did your friends and family react when they found out you were going to be going to flight school?
They're used to me being like, I'm just going to do this, and they just, I don't know, they've always been a full supporter of whatever. I mean, as long as I can figure it out, I've been always jump into it and figure it out as we go. And I don't know, my friends they kind of joked with me, I don't know, because I always did, like I said before, I was never a very academically driven person. I didn't care for school much. And then I did construction right as I left. So it was definitely like a surprise almost. I mean, I guess I wasn't doubted by anybody, but it was like you're gonna go fly airplanes type ordeal. So I don't know. Some people still get surprised. Some people are like, yeah, I can see that, but.
I mean, you do race sleds anyway though.
Yeah.
So it's not too far of a jump. Did you feel that there was any risk associated with enrolling here?
I wouldn't say enrolling at this school. I mean, of course I'd be nervous. I lived in Wisconsin, so I moved 2 time zones across the entire country to live out here, and I was at a stable job. Like I was pretty much making adult money at the little age of 20 years old, and I was living on my own. I mean, it wasn't like, so I guess it was more risk on my like side of, I was comfortable, and I was kind of just turning my whole life upside down by spending everything I had saved up to hopefully pursue a different career that would maybe have a better outcome than what the path I was headed down. So I wouldn't say it was a risk in the school-wise. I think it was a risk from like my perspective of like the life I had built already, that I was basically flipping upside down to go down a different path almost.
How did you convince yourself, despite the unknowns, that it was a good idea to come out here?
I always wanted to leave Wisconsin. I had done it once before, and I liked living in other places, and I've always wanted to travel and live in different places just to see what it's like almost. I like different scenery and stuff, so I guess I was more excited than I was nervous for it.
What advice would you give to somebody who's on the fence about starting flight training or joining Sling?
Go for it. Like, I don't know, if you're on the fence, then it shouldn't even be an option yet. Just choose it. Like, you can always go back to what you were doing. That's how I looked at it. Like, there'll always be some type of construction job hiring. It's like, I have no reason why I can't try this and see if it works out. And if it doesn't, well, at least you can say you tried it. Every person that's successful has failed.
That's true.
Nobody ever makes it on their first try.
Looking back, what's the biggest reward you've gotten so far from just making that leap to get started?
I feel like most people would say like passing check rides, but honestly for me it was like small steps of simple accomplishment, something you might have been struggling with that like finally clicks and you're like, I don't know, that for me is like a huge accomplishment, something that like people don't see. Like everybody sees you pass a check ride, but it's like the things that you struggle with, like this type of landing or not understanding how to do this formula to calculate something or not understanding why this works in this way, and then it finally clicks in your head and you're like, oh my God, I understand it, and then you'll never do it wrong again. I think I take those little wins as more of a win than like the overall final goal, because you saw the whole process leading up to, yes, this final piece of paper that shows you have the license now in airplanes statistics. But I don't know, I like the process of it more than I like the final outcome.
So how does it feel now compared to when you first enrolled?
Better. I feel less lost. Like when I first enrolled, I felt like overwhelmed with everything, because you start on your first certification and it's like, oh my God, I have to do this, this, and this. But it's like, I feel like the first certification is a ground builder, so I feel less lost now. I feel like I have a vision of what is all to come now, where like at the point when you first enroll, you're like, oh my God, there's so much going on. Like in this airspace, it's very busy here. It's like, I mean, I came from flying up in the woods I was just north of Green Bay in Wisconsin. There's nothing up there. So it's like, you didn't talk to nobody. There was no airplanes. It was just a lot to take in all at once. Like you just knew planes, knew this, knew that. And it's like, it's a lot to take in, but once you make it through the process, you start understanding it all. You're like, yep, this makes sense. You can pick up the pace as well along with it.
Where do you see this leap that you've made taking you in the next 5 years?
Hopefully just flying airplanes for money. I mean, a lot of people I feel like are in a rush to get to the airlines, which is cool, but I don't know, I don't really have like a set goal. I just want to fly airplanes for money. I'm not really trying to get rich off of this. I just love flying. Like I fell in love with this so much over just like enjoying just going and flying and looking at the scenery. So I'm not opposed to doing some weird job as long as it can pay my bills and I can live somewhat decently. I have no problems flying any plane anywhere and doing whatever. Not in a rush to get to the airlines.
All right, thanks for doing this, man, and good luck with everything.
Yes, thank you.
Thanks for watching. We hope you were inspired. If you have any other questions about taking your very own leap of faith, drop a comment and we'll get it answered. And as always, don't forget to like and subscribe. It really helps the channel. We really appreciate it. I should probably ask him who he is first, huh?
I don't even know who I am. I'm your worst nightmare. This is how I turn my life around.
Welcome to my audiobook. Okay. All right. Where is not cut off?
Yeah, wait. You're like,
right there.
isn't
Right
it
here?
gonna look funny?